Is physical media dying out? That's something every collector dreads. And I feel like I've seen some videos recently where people are talking about the death of physical media and how it's on its way out and it's in, it's got 2 feet in the grave essentially. However, I would argue to the contrary that we are actually in the best time for physical media. Now, you can't argue with numbers. Numbers are numbers and they are fact. The fact is, since 2006, the peak of DVD sales, physical media sales have been on the decline, and in the past 7-8 years, they flatlined. We're not seeing much of an increase in sales, but that's not a bad thing because they're staying steady. We're seeing a constant upgrade in quality and not losing previous generations of physical media, and it's still compatible. 4K players or PS5s play 4K, DVD, and Blu-ray. So you no longer have to rebuy all of your movies when, for the next generation of quality or the next gen comes out of formats, which is a huge plus. I mean, when VHS and Laserdisc were battling it out, Laserdisc went to the wayside and VHS became the conqueror. Everybody had to rebuy all their Laserdisc on VHS. Same thing with DVD. Then when Blu-rays and HD DVD start making their way into the market, they were backwards compatible with DVD, so you didn't have to rebuy every movie. Same thing with 4K. You don't have to rebuy every movie, which is helping sustain physical media. So now you can have 3 generations of formats that are all compatible with your latest gen, which is 4K. And not only that, that's just part of why physical media is dying out, because you can go to thrift stores, Goodwill, yes, thrift store, you go to Goodwills, you can go to flea markets, yard sales, and find out-of-print films for pennies on the dollar and find these gold mines. You can go to reused stores. There are actually still video stores out there that sell used physical media that are dedicated to used physical media and find great titles. You can still buy new films on 4K and Blu-ray and even DVD. Physical media isn't dying out. That's a complete fabrication and completely false. Have Target and Best Buy stopped selling physical media? Yes, but that doesn't really mean anything. You can still go to Walmart and buy all the new releases. You can still order them all on Amazon. Shout Factory shutting down their solo site was a huge thing, and it caused ripple effects throughout the physical media community. But again, they didn't shut down. They're not stopping production on their physical media. They're simply combining with the parent company to have one website instead of 2 separate websites. That's just cost efficiency. It's not them stopping physical media. They're still producing physical media. You can still buy it. It's just you're going through a different website, which I personally don't see the huge deal with that. I don't see why people were upset about it. I understand, it's inconvenient, and I think they did do away with their, reward program or something. There was an issue with the transition from the Shout Factory reward program, which you buy, $100 worth, you get X amount of dollars back. I'm not sure. I wasn't a Shout Factory member. With the Criterion, I do know when you spend, I think it's $500, you get a $50 credit when you buy from Criterion's website. So again, if Criterion stopped selling off their website and they went and paired with another website to buy their movies directly from them, and you lost that membership rewards program, it would be kind of a bummer, but I wouldn't say it's the end of the world. Again, I personally buy a lot of movies from Amazon. I think that's the easiest way to do it. I do buy stuff from Walmart sometimes as well. $5 bins still exist, believe it or not. Every Walmart I go to, there are still $5 bins. I still rummage through them and see that good in there because you can always find some good $5 bin movies. But on top of that, we are in the era of boutique labels, which is something we never had before and something that is the backbone of film preservation. Vinegar Syndrome, Criterion Collection, Severin Films, Era 4444, Shout Factory. There are so many boutique labels, Radiance, that puts out these films that we wouldn't have access to if it wasn't for them. So not only is physical media still thriving, it's really the backbone of film preservation. And yes, it's no longer a mainstream thing where you go to somebody's house and they have 40 movies or that tower of movies sitting in their living room. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Now it's a niche thing. But again, we're reverting back to what physical media started out as, a niche thing. When Laserdisc first came out and VHS first came out, it wasn't this mainstream thing where everybody had a VHS or a Laserdisc player and everybody had, 100 movies sitting in their living room to kind of show off and, let their neighbors borrow and, watch whenever and stuff like that. That didn't become until like the early 2000s. Because through the 90s, video sales were still a thing. Like, yes, you had mom and pop video stores, which really kind of took off home video, but people weren't buying them and collecting them. It was more of a rental service because people couldn't afford to buy them. Even in the early 2000s, I remember Bubble Boy with Jake Gyllenhaal. That movie had a strict rental-only clause with it, so you could rent it from Blockbusters for like 3 months before it was actually able to buy. Because I remember seeing it in theaters and wanting to get it, and I remember a kid in my class was like, "Oh, I got Bubble Boy on VHS." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's not out yet." He goes, "Oh no, I got it last night." Went to Kmart, made my dad take me to Kmart. Yes, Kmart, just before Walmart took over that night to buy that movie. And like, no, we don't have that. It's not out yet. I'm like, "What do you mean? The kid in my class had it." And the person that working at Kmart was like, "No, they probably have a rental from Blockbuster." And that's when they explained to me, because I guess they knew a lot about electronics, that there's actually at least or some rule with certain movies where Blockbuster has a time frame where they can rent the movie out before it's available to buy. And it was months before I actually was able to buy that VHS, which I still have over there, which was huge. And that was a huge part of, the whole home video experience. And now we're back to the point where it's no longer mainstream. It's much more of a niche thing, which is really awesome because you can find all these films that were mass produced during the height of it for pennies on the dollar. You can still collect your favorite films and find these films that got lost in the shuffle from decades ago. These really obscure movies that you're not going to find on streaming. You're not going to find on any streaming platform or video on demand, anything like that. And it's really kind of helped save film and film preservation all at the same time. So, and long story short, because this video is supposed to be short, that physical media is not dying, it's actually thriving. And I'm actually going to make a long form video. Even though this video is pretty damn long, we're going to make a long form video really with the history of physical media and going deeper into that to really explain to new collectors that no, physical media is not dying. It's the perfect time to start collecting. And why? Because physical media is far from dead. It's actually thriving, as it's the details are there and the facts are there. It's just a matter of perception and how you look at things. So what are your thoughts? Do you think physical media is dying, or do you think we are in the best time to be collecting physical media? Comment below, let me know.